am Sanjeeva. Today I would like to teach one chapter from second year electricity. So before announcing the name of the chapter, I want to bring one logical question to your notice. You please think a couple of seconds to answer that question. The logic question is, can't live with it. Can't live without it. Come on, you see this question? So what is the answer for this question? Simply the very famous physical quantity, electric charge. So without electric charge, we can't live. Why? Because without electric charge, no electric current. Without electric current, imagine our way of living. If there is no electric current, no civilization. Our civilization goes back. Without electric current, no online classes, no smartphones, no televisions, no cinema theatres, no cricket match, nothing, no transportation. So that is why electric charge plays very most important role. So that is why first I would like to talk a couple of minutes about electric charge. So what is electric charge? Already we people have studied in earlier chapters, electrostatics. So here electric charge is the fundamental property of electron and proton. Electric charge is fundamental property of electron and proton. So electric charge is always associated with electron and proton. Electric charge and electron we never isolate. Electric charge and proton we never isolate. Where there is electron and proton, there will be electric charge. Where there is electric charge, there will be electron and proton. So electric charge is always associated with electron and proton. Moreover, the charge residing on electron and proton is complete. The nature of charge is opposite. How can we say, when we keep these two fundamental particles, any electric and magnetic field, they are moving in opposite direction. The force acting on them is opposite. The direction of acceleration is opposite. So on the basis of these results, we can say that the charge residing on electron and proton exactly opposite. The nature of charge is opposite. That is why Benjamin Franklin selected the charge residing on electron is called negative charge. The charge residing on proton is called positive charge. So electric charge is two kinds, negative charge, positive charge. The charge residing on electron negative, the charge residing on proton is positive charge. But the magnitude of charge on electron and proton is equal. Both are having same magnitude of electric charge. So what is the charge on electron and proton? 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. So coulomb is the SI unit of electric charge. So 1 coulomb is equal, so 6.203 into 10 to the power of 18 electrons of coulomb. So the total amount of charge residing on this number of electrons is nothing but 1 coulomb. There is another important fact about electric charge. Electric charge neither be created nor destroyed, but we can transfer from one body to another body. So by transfer of electrons, we can create electric charge. So when we say electric charge, when it is at rest, when this electric charge is at rest, it produces magnetic field. It produces electric field. When the same electric charge is moving with uniform velocity, is moving with uniform velocity. It produces electric field and magnetic field also. Plus, it is also produce magnetic field. When the same electric charge is moving with an acceleration, is moving with an acceleration. So it is also produce electric field and magnetic field, and it is also radiates energy in the space surrounded by the electric charge in the form of electromagnetic waves. Electric field, magnetic field and electromagnetic waves. There is one fact. In the universe, the 99% of available energy is propagated in the form of electromagnetic waves. So, the electromagnetic waves propagation is very most important. So, about this electric field, we are studying in 4th chapter from electricity, electric charges and electric fields. Whereas about electromagnetic waves, there is 11th chapter. But about electric charges and magnetic field in 7th chapter. So now I would like to speak the moving charges and the magnetic field. Today our current topic is 7th chapter from 2nd year electricity. Moving charges and magnetic field. And the magnetic field. You know that roughly speaking, electric current is nothing but flow of electric charge. So what is an electric current? Flow of electric charge to a conductor in unit time. We can write formula I is equal to Q by T or in E by T. Units are ampere. So here moving charges is also established electric current. So first the relation between electric current and magnetic field, experimentally verified by the famous scientist Oersted. By doing some experiment, the name of this scientist is Oersted. Here the Oersted taken a magnetic compass needle and he kept nearby the current carrying conductor. He has taken one conductor. When he is passing current like this, so when the current is passing through this conductor, nearby this conductor, he has arranged one magnetic needle. When the current passing through it, the needle is deflected. So why the needle is deflected? The needle experiences some force. That force is because of magnetic field. Around this conductor there will be a magnetic field. As a result, the needle is deflected. When the direction of flow of current is changed, again the direction of deflection of the needle is also changed. Here Oersted is also observed the alignment of the magnetic needle around the current carrying conductor. So if you see the magnetic needle, it always comes to rest like this. The alignment of the magnetic needle. So nothing but what you understand when current is passing through the conductor. Here the magnetic field is arranged in the form of circles. And here Oersted is also taken some iron filings. When iron filings are sprinkled on the current carrying conductor, those all filings are arranged themselves in the form of concentric circles. So by doing these all experiments, he stated that when current is passing through the conductor, around the conductor some magnetic field is created. So what is the other source of the magnetic field? A bar magnet. So what type of magnetic field takes place around a bar magnet? Same type of magnetic field is created here also. A stationary charge is produced electric field, but a moving charge has produced magnetic field. Here the properties of electric field and the properties of magnetic field almost all similar. Here the magnetic field takes place in all directions around the current carrying conductor. We can say three-dimensional. The magnetic field is three-dimensional. Here the magnetic field just not artifact. The magnetic field is just not artifact. It plays a physical role. Here the magnetic field which takes place around the current carrying conductor, it can convey momentum and energy. Here the magnetic field cannot take place simultaneously. It cannot spread simultaneously. It will take a definite time for spreading. So here the magnetic field is also time variant. But of course, in our chapter, so we assume that the magnetic field is independent of time. To understand the nature of the magnetic field, there the magnetic field is characterized by two factors. One is strength. The other one is direction. Strength and the direction. First, I want to introduce the direction of the magnetic field. To know the direction of magnetic field, there are two laws. One is Ampere's swimming rule. Ampere swimming rule. So by using this swimming rule, we can find the deflection of the magnetic needle nearby current carrying conductor. Ampere swimming rule. What is the purpose of swimming rule? To know the deflection of the magnetic needle. According to Ampere's swimming rule, if you want to know the deflection of the magnetic needle, just a couple of minutes, you imagine you are swimming in the direction of flow of current by stretching your hands like this. We are swimming in the direction of flow of current by stretching our hands, and our face is toward the conductor. Then the north pole of the needle deflects towards its left hand side. Which is left hand in this case? Imagine. So this is the left hand. Again here, imagine a man is swimming in the direction of flow of current, facing toward the conductor. Then the north pole is deflected towards his left hand. So by using Ampere's swimming rule, we can identify the direction of deflection of the magnetic needle. To know the direction of magnetic field, we have another rule, the very famous Ampere right hand thumb rule. Ampere right hand. So according to Ampere right hand thumb rule, if you want to know the direction of magnetic field, the current carrying conductor is held in the direction of like this, in the direction of right hand, and the thumb is pointing in the direction of flow of current. The remaining curling fingers indicates the direction of magnetic field like this. This is the direction of flow of current. So this is the thumb. Thumb indicates the direction of flow of current. The remaining curling fingers indicates the direction of magnetic field. Suppose, now you take like this. The current is flowing in the downward. The thumb is indicate the direction of flow of current. The curling fingers indicates the direction of magnetic field. Or like this, the current is flowing like this. The thumb is. Suppose in the case of circular current, if you take a circular current, a current is flowing in the coil, in the circular part. In that case, this curling fingers indicate the direction of flow of current. The thumb indicates the direction of magnetic field. So by using right-handed thumb rule, in every case, we can find the direction of magnetic field. Now, the strength. In general, to know the nature of the magnetic field or strength of the magnetic field, so we are using the field lines. Take a charge. So these are the field lines. Here the field lines are in this area, in this plane. The field lines are very narrow. Here the field lines are far apart. So where the field lines are crowded, we can say that the field is very strong. Where the field lines are far apart, we can say the field is very weak. If you take a bar magnet, here the field lines are crowded, then the field is very strong at the poles. In the middle, the field lines are moved far apart, then the field is very weak. So by using the field lines, we can estimate the nature of the field. And if you take the field lines where the magnetic field is same at each and every point, then the magnetic field is called uniform magnetic field, which is shown by equal distance parallel lines like this. Where the field lines are like this, equal distance parallel lines, that field is called uniform magnetic field. Here the number of field lines here the number of these field lines passing normally through a surface. So this number of field lines are called magnetic flux. So this is one of the way to estimate magnetic field, the strength of the magnetic field in terms of magnetic flux, in terms of magnetic field lines. So magnetic flux is nothing but number of field lines passing normally through the surface. If the same number of field lines, if you take per unit area, these are the number of field lines per unit area. Number of field lines per unit area is called magnetic strength. B is equal to pi by A. Units are Weber per meter square or Newton. Tesla, the SI unit is Tesla. It is called magnetic field strength or magnetic induction or magnetic flux density. So this is one of the ways to estimate magnetic field strength. But here in this chapter, the main object we are going to study about the magnetic field. We are going to calculating magnetic field by passing current through different shapes of conductors. Like this. First you take curved conductor. When current is passing through the curved conductor like this, so we are going to estimate the magnetic field in this region by passing current through curved conductor. Curved conductor means here the flow of current is asymmetric. So this is called Biot-Savart law. Next, by passing current through straight infinite conductor, we are taking a straight infinite conductor, and again we are going to finding magnetic field. This is Ampere's law. Next, by passing current through coil, by passing current through a circular coil. So we to find the magnetic field and the axis of current carrying coil. And we also find the magnetic field. There are two important magnetic field devices. They are solenoid and toroid. In these two cases also, we are going to finding the magnetic field, which are very most important devices. We are widely using in application purpose to produce uniform magnetic field. In these all cases, we are going to deriving or evaluating the magnetic field. And at the same time, another topic, nearby current carrying conductor. If we keep a magnetic needle, whatever it is deflected. Why it is deflecting? Because of it experiences force. Here the magnetic field and the flowing electric current interacts with magnetic field and applies some force. So instead of magnetic needle, if we keep an electric charge in this magnetic field, now whatever this electric charge is experiencing force. Next we are going to study the force on electric charge in the magnetic field. But if the electric charge is at rest, it does not experience any force. A stationary charge cannot experience any force in magnetic field. But a stationary charge can experience a force in electric field. The force on a charge in electric field is equal. But if the same charge, if it is at rest, it does not experience any force in the magnetic field. But if the charge is moving, then the magnetic field can exert some force on the charge. So what is the force on a moving charge in the magnetic field? And the direction of force. By using this formula, there is a famous device, cyclotron. Next, instead of charge, instead of electric charge, if we keep a current carrying conductor in this magnetic field, where the magnetic field is created due to electric current. In this field, when we keep a current carrying conductor, another current carrying conductor, it is also experiencing a force. So the force on current carrying conductor. Next, if we keep a current carrying coil in this magnetic field, the current carrying coil experiences a torque. The torque on current carrying coil in the magnetic field. Based on this theory, there is a famous device, a versatile instrument called moving coil galvanometer, which measures electric current up to 10 to the power of -10 amperes efficiently without sacrificing accuracy. So we are also going to study moving coil galvanometer, ammeter and voltmeter. So these are the topics we are going to study in this chapter. So first out of them, now I would like to bring Biot-Savart law. Can I stop? Now first one, Biot-Savart law. Now what is the purpose of Biot-Savart law? To find magnetic field. So Biot-Savart law gives magnetic field due to the small element of current carrying conductor. Now you take current carrying curved conductor. Now you take one curved conductor. Now what is the specialty of curved conductor? In this case, the current is not symmetry. There will be fluctuation in the electric current with the time. So this is AB is a curved conductor. Now this curved conductor is divided into number of equal parts. One of the small part is called element. Where AB is what? A small element. the length of this element is dl. Here the current passing through this conductor is I. The same amount of current is also passing through this small element. It is very small, very near at these two ends. For the sake of convenience, I am taking at larger distance. So when current is passing through this small element, now we find magnetic induction at any one point nearby this conductor. Let us choose. So we want to find the magnetic field at the point P. Here the magnetic field is only because of electric current. So here the magnetic field is directly proportional to strength of the electric current in the small element. If the strength of the current increases, magnetic field is also increases. If the strength of the current decreases, magnetic field is also decreases. Hence we can write magnetic field due to the small element directly proportional to strength of the electric current. And it is also directly proportional to length of the element. It is also proportional to length of the small element. It depends upon both. I into dl is called current element. Now, you take this point. If you take this point P, very infinite distance, what happens? The field becomes zero. If this point P we take very nearby the conductor, the field becomes infinity. So that means here the field is also depends upon the distance of this point from the conductor, from the element, from the source. So that is why we connect the point P and this element. And now we connect this edge or this edge. These are two very narrow. But we are taking the larger scale. So here R is equal to what? The distance of this point from the source or position vector. The angle between them, theta. So here the magnetic field is also directly proportional to the side angle between element and the point. dB proportional to sine theta. So here magnetic, according to Biot-Savart, the magnetic induction due to the curved conductor it depends upon these three factors. On those three factors it directly proportional. Out of them which is increases, the magnetic field will increases. Here depends upon sine angle. So if both are mutually perpendicular, the small element and the position vector, then what happens? The magnetic field becomes maximum. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, dB becomes maximum. Now, it is also depends upon the distance. So, if the point P, if we bring very nearer to the conductor, the field becomes infinity. If you take infinity distance, the field becomes zero. So, that is why here the field, magnetic field due to curved conductor is also depends upon distance, square of the distance. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Same Coulomb's law, it is follows Coulomb's law. So totally, according to Biot-Savart law, this is an experimental result. Depends upon these four factors. dB proportional to ideal sine theta by r square. Now, so far there are four factors. So another factor is there which influence here the magnetic field. The another invisible factor. Now you take coronavirus, how it will affect our biological system? In the same manner, here another invisible quantity, which is also influence here existing magnetic field. That is the property of the medium. Here the property of the medium is also relatively either decreasing or decreasing existing magnetic field. That is why we must take into consider the property of the medium. Here the medium is either air or vacuum, both are equal. Here the property of this medium is called magnetic permeability. It is always constant, wherever, in all places, the magnetic permeability of free space and air is constant. We are taking this constant in the form of proportionality constant. It is in our physics culture. Whenever this proportional symbol is removed, then we can write one proportional constant. Here, what is that proportional constant? dB is equal mu naught by 4 pi ideal sin theta by r square. Here mu naught is equal magnetic permeability. What is mu naught? Magnetic permeability of free space. Its value is constant. Mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Henry per meter. Now you know Newton universal gravitational constant. F is equal in gravitation law. Here, whereas Newton gravitational constant does not depend upon intervening medium, but whereas here field depends upon the medium. In which medium the conductor is present, it depends upon the nature of the medium. But here it does not depend upon nature of the medium. So mu naught by 4 pi ideal sin theta by r square. So this is called Biot-Savart law, scalar form. So magnetic induction due to curved conductor. If you want to express in the vector form, the given equation is multiplied with unit vector. dB is equal mu naught by 4 pi ideal sin theta. Unit vector. We have unit vector. How can we write? The vector n by its magnitude. Vector n means r into by now instead of unit vector, now we substitute this value. dB becomes mu naught by 4 pi ideal sin theta by r square instead of unit vector. Ideal sin theta cancel. So we have dB is equal mu naught by 4 pi. So this is current element by r square into r cube. So this is scalar form of Biot-Savart law. Scalar form of Biot-Savart law. To find magnetic field due to the small element of curved conductor, then we can use this formula. And I have Biot-Savart law and the Coulomb inverse square law in electrostatics. There is some similarities. Coulomb inverse square law in electrostatics. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by d square. Both are inverse square laws. Biot-Savart law in magnetic field, in electric field, electrostatic force. Both are inverse square laws. Whereas here magnetic field is depends upon current element, whereas electric field is depends upon the scalar quantity electric charge. So electric field is because of the source is scalar quantity. Here magnetic field source is vector quantity, current element. Here electric field, magnetic field are having same properties. The field lines are different. You know, in the case of electric field, you never expect closed loops. But only in the case of magnetic field, we can expect closed loops. So thank you. In the next class, I am going to teach Ampere's law.